Hey everyone, it's Mr. Senior. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's lesson. All right, so today I can calculate and apply unit rate. So yesterday we calculated, today we're going to calculate unit rate and also go and apply it. So APK, quick warm up. Sebastian walks 12 miles in 6 hours. How far does he walk per hour? Go ahead and pause your video and work on this for a couple seconds. You should have had 12 miles over 6 hours because walk was first, so that's your distance, over your hours because that was second. Divide that by both. You're going to divide both of those by 6 to get 2 miles per hour. All right, so computing and applied, this is when we're going to determine the amount or number and put it into like an operation. The unit rate, we know that's going down to a unit of 1. So for this, there's going to be 2 quantities. So in our example, we have dollars per pound, and then the order of the numbers will match the order of the words in the question. So we want 5 pounds of apples, and then we have cost for 5 pounds of apples. So cost was first, cost is on top, pounds are going to be on the bottom. In this case, it was 1 pound, so our unit rate was already there, and then we multiplied up to the amount we actually needed. In our non-example here, you'll see our words are out of order, so we should have the money on top, but in this case, we have it as our denominator, which would get this backwards for us. All right, so first example. Frank set a record for eating a large number of donuts in 10 minutes. He consumed 15 donuts in 3 minutes. At that rate, how many will he consume in 10 minutes? So we want to know donuts per minute here because that's our order. So I'm going to make a note of that, donuts per minute. So in this case, we know he consumed 15 donuts. So we know there were 15 donuts there, and he did that in 3 minutes. Now, we don't want 3 minutes. We want to know how many he ate in 10 minutes. So we're going to need to get 3 up to 10, which does not just multiply. So in order to do this, we need to find our unit rate here. To find our unit rate, we're going to go and divide our denominator by itself. If we do it to the bottom, we also do it to the top. 15 divided by 3 is then 5 donuts per 3 divided by 3 is 1 minute. This is our unit rate. So here we found unit rate. Now we need to go and actually apply the unit rate. We want 10 minutes, but we currently have 1. In order to get 1 up to 10, we're going to multiply by 10. So we're multiplying by the amount we actually want. 5 times 10 is 50 donuts per 10 minutes. So you could eat 50 donuts in 10 minutes. So go ahead and write this down and then pause your video, and you're going to work on the one on the right for me. What you should have on the one on the right is 600 puffs in 12 minutes. So we divided that by a fraction. You divide it by itself. As long as you divide it by itself, it'll always be 1. Do the same thing to the top as you're doing to the bottom. Then you're going to get your unit rate. From your unit rate, you'll go ahead and multiply it up to the number you need to get 600 puffs per 12 minutes. So let's look at our next one. If Ethan writes 1/6 of a page in his history report in half a minute, how long does it take him to write a full page in his history report? So the first thing we're going to do is, in our question, it says how long does it take him? So that's our time. Time is going to go on top here because that's the first thing we see in our question. So a half a minute, he was able to do 1/6 of a page. So now we need to know a full page. We have 1/6 of a page. In order to get that to 1, we're going to divide it by itself. So as long as we divide this by itself, and we do it to the top as well, we are going to have 1 page as our denominator. So anytime you need 1 on the denominator, just divide what you have by itself and it'll always be 1. So now on the top, we're going to have that 1/2 divided by 1/6. So we're going to keep, change, and flip to get 6/2, which reduces down to 3 minutes for 1 page. So that's part 1. So our second part, how long will it take Ethan to write 5 pages? So right now we know 1 page. So we know it's 3 minutes for 1 page. So 3 minutes for one page, but we want 5 pages. In order to get this to 5 pages, we're going to multiply our unit up to 5. So times 5. Do I do it to the bottom? I do it to the top. And we will have 15 minutes for 5 pages. So go ahead and write these ones down, take some notes, and then pause your video, and you're going to work on the one on the right. For this first one, what you should have here is you should have half a minute for one page. So we took that denominator, we divided it by itself, did it to the top as well. That became 1/2 when you keep change flip. In the bottom, getting up to 10 pages, you should have 5 minutes for 10 pages. All right, so moving on. You're going to notice that there's a code in the top right corner. So what you're going to do, this is going to be one of the questions on your independent practice. This will be the one you type in. So if you want to just take a note of this code, so that way you can write it in. That way we can make sure you are watching the video. So that's what that code in the top right corner means. All right, so one on the left. A store sells half a pound of hamburger for $2.50. You need 5 pounds for a party. How much will it cost? So we need 5 pounds. So because that's what we need, that's going to be our denominator. Right now, we know there's half a pound, and it's for $2.50. So the reason why the pounds are on the bottom is because that's what we need to find out. So whatever we need to find out, whatever we need to solve for, that's going to be our denominator. So right now we know it's $2.50 for a half a pound. We need 5 pounds. So first I need to get my unit rate. I'm going to divide the denominator by itself, dividing the denominator by itself. So we now have 1 pound. Keep change flip is going to end up being $2.50 times 2, which is $5 for 1 pound. But we need a total of 5 pounds. Right now we know 1 pound. In order to get 1 pound up to 5 pounds, we're going to multiply this by 5. If I do it to the bottom, I'm also going to do it to the top. 5 times 5 becomes 25, and we're going to keep that unit of dollars for 5 pounds. So $25 for 5 pounds. Go ahead and take these notes, pause your video, and you're going to work on the one on the right. And what you should have for the one on the right is $24 for 2 pounds. All right, so Eric set a new record for eating pizza rolls in 10 minutes. He consumed 12.5 rolls in 2.5 minutes. At that rate, how many can he eat in 10 minutes? So we need to know minutes, which means minutes will be our denominator. And we know right now there's 2.5 minutes. We know he ate 12.5 rolls in 2.5 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into improper fractions just to make multiplication a little bit easier for me. I know my top is going to be 2 times 12 is 24, plus 1 is 25 over 2 rolls in 5 over 2 minutes. So now what I'm doing here, I'm going to go and divide my denominator by itself. That way I can get my unit rate. If I do it to the bottom, I also do it to the top. So we will have 1 minute here. Keep change flip, we'll have 25 over 2 times 2 over 5, which ends up being 50 over 10 in that 1 minute. Maybe you guys a couple seconds to write this down. You can pause it. I'm going to have to clear and continue. So we'll have 50 over 10 rolls in 1 minute. So 50 over 10 rolls per 1 minute. I'm going to simplify this. 50 divided by 10 is 5 rolls in 1 minute. So we had 5 rolls per minute. At that rate, how many can he eat in 10 minutes? So we're going to go and multiply times 10, the unit we actually want. 5 times 10 is 50 rolls in 10 minutes. So 50 rolls in 10 minutes. Go ahead and take a couple seconds to write this down. You can pause your video and then start working on the one on the right. And what you should have here, what I did is I converted it into a decimal here, which is also an option you can do. I did improper fractions for the one on the left, but you could also convert these to decimals and do it that way as well. All right, so Jerry's making cream puffs for a party and wants to make sure that each person gets one. So every single person here needs to have a cream puff. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup of cream for each batch, and each batch makes 12 puffs. If the party's for 36 people, how many cups of cream will be needed? So I have to think about this one a little bit. I know we want 36 people are going to be at this party. I know each person needs one cream puff. So I know each batch makes 12, but I need a total of 36 because I'm going to need 36 cream puffs so each person can have one. So I'm going to end up putting my puffs as my denominator. So the information it gives me is about 12 puffs. And I know we need 3/4 cups for those 12 puffs. So now we need to find the unit rate for the amount of puffs it will make. To do that, I divide my denominator by itself. Do it to the bottom, I also do it to the top. We now have 1 puff. 3/4 keep change, flip, 12 becomes 1/12. And we have 3/48 cups for 1 puff. So we know we have 3/48 cups of cream for 1 puff. However, we need 36 puffs. So go ahead and pause this so you can write it down. And then I'm going to clear and continue. So we have 3/48 cups for 1 puff. So I now know that this is the amount of cups of cream I'll need for 1 puff. And I need a total of 36 puffs, so that way each of the 36 people can have their own. So I need to get 1 up to 36, multiply this up to 36 times 36. 3 times 36 is 108 over 48, all over the 36 puffs. So now I'm going to take this 108 over 48 and simplify this. And I'll get 2.25 cups for 36 puffs. You could also have 2 and 1/4. That would be the same amount as well. So go ahead and make sure you have this written down. Pause your video, and then we're going to work on the one on the right. What you should have for the one on the right is now 15 ounces for those 48 chocolates. All right, so you'll notice too, your independent practice has the problems on the right as some of the problems. So you should already have those written down as you've done them. And then also you're going to go and have a couple others to complete as well. If you need the code, go back a couple slides, that way you can get that in. Other than that, if you have questions, make sure you're joining our tutorials and office hour times. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.